Hey guys, so welcome back to my channel. So today I am hiding out in my kid's bedroom so that she's watching a show and my other one is sleeping so that I can film a couple videos today. So I have tried to film this video a few times, but to be honest, it's just been really intimidating. Long story short, what I wanted to do today was talk about another one of my tough mothering sessions. I know I haven't done one of these in a long time, and I was planning on doing them like at least once a month, if not more. But I just kind of want to talk about things that we don't always talk about. And the biggest thing that I've been, I guess, kind of struggling with, but also something that's been coming to mind, is body image while being a mom. So I almost feel like growing up, I know that my mom, she struggled with her weight a lot. She was pretty thin shortly after she had my sister, and she was able to, I guess, diet, exercise, lost all the weight, and then stress happened, life happened, and she basically gained all the weight back. So, and I know that growing up, like, I always knew that she wasn't really happy with herself. Like, I feel like it was something that I know, like, affected me a little bit. I mean, the reality of it is that my family, we're just not skinny people. I mean, I have pictures from ancestors from the 1800s and early 1900s, and for the most part, we start off fairly thin when we're younger and like young adults, but as soon as like we have children and we get a little bit older, like plus 30 mark, we all gain weight. And I guess the good news is we're pretty healthy despite that. Like, a lot of my family members are pretty long lived and they're pretty healthy, no major like diseases in the family until like they get into their 80s, which is typical. So it's always been something that I've struggled with in general, and that was probably the premise, like how I completely started my channel, was in an effort to like love myself more and be more confident in my body, and just feel good about who I am, because it's hard. And I think it's harder sometimes when you have young children to be careful about how you talk about yourself, or even your children, like how you talk to them or even about them, because they're going to start growing up, they're going to start noticing things, and I just feel like it's something that needs to, like, we need to keep it positive, even though I don't really know how. So I mean, in some ways I feel like there has been strides made in the recent years on like kind of more body positive like people. And it's funny too, because I find that like I appreciate it, because part of the reasons why I started my YouTube channel is because I wanted to see what people my size looked like when they wore clothes, because a lot of women are curvy or overweight, or just after having kids, it's just your shape is different sometimes, and there's things about my body that I don't know that I can change that don't make me happy, but I need to learn how to like accept them and live with them, and not like, I don't want to be spending my entire life trying this diet and that diet. I think I probably started my first diet when it was in high school. I think I was a sophomore in high school, so whatever age that is. And I remember I would bring like a Slim Fast shake to school every day, except for, I think every once in a while I'd stop and they had these like mozzarella stuffed like breadsticks, and I would get those like as a treat. But I remember I would go there and I would drink Slim Fast for lunch, and I would try to have a Slim Fast for breakfast, and I was always trying to lose weight because I was a chubby kid. There's some outside factors that kind of caused that to happen, which I'm not ready to go into right now. But long story short, I was basically in middle school put on some medication that caused me to gain a ton of weight. And, I never lost it. And of course I can be angry that, decisions were taken out of my hands and I wasn't able to have a choice whether or not to do that. But I feel like, if it wasn't that, it could have been something else. And like I said, my whole family has struggled with it. So I kind of have this pin on Pinterest that I wanted to kind of talk about, because it's 10 ways to improve body image. And this is something that, like, these are things that I kind of try to put into my life right now, especially since I have 2 young girls and I don't want them to go through the same struggles that I did. I mean, I definitely think I eat healthier now than I did whenever I was younger, but And I also feel like I try to get the kids to eat a little bit healthier. I try to be careful about treats and, all the sugar or whatever unhealthy foods that they eat. I try to make sure they're eating like balanced meals. Not always perfect because, I'm human. But anyway. So the first thing of this 10 ways to improve body image. So the first thing is don't focus on what other people's bodies look like, which I know is really hard to do, but sometimes I need to unplug from social media. I have friends who are, really big into certain weight loss programs, and they've had a lot of success on it, and I'm really happy for them. But sometimes I just need to unplug. And sometimes the way I unplug is like reading a book, go for a walk in the woods, or even just like doing housework while like listening to, positive like podcasts or something, I think help. Number 2, focus on the things you like about your parents. So that's something that I do. I try to play up the things I like. I love my hair. I have very thick, like healthy hair. I like my face. Like I think I've been very fortunate that I haven't really had a ton of like my face is still fairly decent. I don't have a lot of aging issues yet. But I also try to focus on the things that I do like, certain outfits that make me feel good. And I'm really picky about outfits because I don't want to wear anything that I don't really feel great in. I mean, sometimes, it is what it is. But I feel like when I go shopping, I try to be really picky about what I buy and not just buy it just because it's good enough. Because I feel like I want to feel good in it. Number 3, each day say one thing that you like about yourself. So like I said, it's good to think about that. I mean, it's good to think that, I think I'm a pretty good person. I think I'm a good friend. And, my body's done some pretty amazing things, like birthed 3 healthy children and nursed them all to toddlerhood. So it's so important, I think, to focus on what you do have instead of focusing what you don't have. Because you'll always find something that you don't have. But sometimes you take for granted the things that you do have. Number 4, focus on accomplishments that have to do with who you are as a person, not what you look like. I'd say that's another thing too. I think people are so obsessed with looking good that they don't always think about whether or not they're good people. And I mean, I'm guilty of this too. And I think that we need to be better people. Because I do think there's people I know that are like drop dead gorgeous, but their attitudes are just so crummy that I don't even think they're that attractive. I mean, if you look at a picture of them, sure, but if you get to know them, it's not, like you're not as, I feel like they lose their attractiveness in my opinion. Number 6, understand the things that we see in print or in television have been altered to perfection. Everything is not as it seems. This is such a big thing I want to teach my girls, and I'm even careful about like what movies my girls watch. And I've become more. It's funny because I used to be like, I'm not going to be restrictive. I'll just have conversations. But now I'm getting more and more like, look, I don't want them to be bombarded with images of these perfect bodies and thinking that they're not good enough. I mean, I think, like I said, take a break from social media if you need to. Get outside or go do, like, something with your hands. Like, sometimes, like, sewing for me or, like, cross-stitch or just, like, drawing, writing, whatever. And it helps get your mind off of it because I think, like I said, we're just, like, everywhere. Images of, like, perfect people. And it's hard to get away from. I guess that one was number 5, so this is number 6. You don't need validation from anyone else to feel good about yourself. True. And I think there's a lot of people on social media that do, like the girls that post the pictures, it's so funny, like, of, like, their little butts sticking out or, like, cleavage shots. And you're thinking, you're doing that because you want somebody to tell you you're hot or you want somebody to tell you you're attractive. Well, you shouldn't need to be seeking outside validation. I honestly think that's why we have a lot of issues with society is everyone's looking to be validated in how they feel or who they are. And I think, you need to work on cultivating a self-confidence that you know who you are, you know what you're about, and you want to, I guess, stand firm in that and feel comfortable in that. Number 7, no one is perfect, so embrace the fact that you have flaws and love the things that make you unique. True. I mean, I used to hate my brown eyes. When I was growing up, my brother used to tease me. I'm the only brown-eyed child of my sibling group, so it was always kind of hard because I was like the odd one out. But now that I'm grown up, first of all, I've noticed that my eyes aren't just like flat brown. They're actually kind of a hazelish green brown. And so some days, like if I wear certain makeup or like the sunlight hits my eyes a certain way, they look almost green. And I'm thinking, that is unique. I feel like this like perfect blonde hair, blue-eyed woman that seems to be everyone's kind of ideal is not always, you know, it's like, it seems to be a very common image we see. So it makes me like think, well, why would I want to get rid of my brown eyes? Because they're what make me me, and I'm okay with me. Number 8, surround yourself with people who support you and make you feel good about yourself. See, so this is so true. I had a while ago a friend of mine who we were really, like, I feel like the relationship started out really good and we were really good friends, but then it started to get to the point where I almost felt like she would kind of make like offhanded comments about me, the way I looked. There was kind of some competitiveness, I think, in it. And I struggled with that because I always kind of felt like, you know, not really good enough around here, or like I had to project a certain persona around her to be considered like acceptable. So after kind of things kind of came to a head, I just ended the friendship. I mean, we just kind of walked away mutually, and I just remember like feeling like relief in a sense. And so it's totally, you know, number one, it's totally okay to walk away from a relationship that is draining you and that you're not feeling fulfilled in. But one caveat to that, though, is that, you know, make sure it's not that they might be telling you something that you don't want to hear, and, you know, and just walking away from it because you want everyone to be like, yes, you're amazing, you're like the perfect person, because we do need people to sometimes keep us in check too. And so this person, I mean, I just felt drained when I was around here. So I do think that there's something to be said about that. Do not let people steal your joy. Do not let them put you in a bad place. Focus on people that do care about you, and it's worth it. It's totally worth it. Number 9, do things that make you happy. Okay, big thing. It's okay to say no. I mean, even with, I have friends and stuff, people that want to do things that I just, like, they don't bring me joy, they don't make me happy. It's okay to be like, nah, I'm not really into that. And do things. Like, one thing that I started doing more so recently is I try to do more things with my kids. And I mean, I used to think, oh, well, I can't go do this because I got the kids, and, you know, what if one of them acts out, blah, blah, blah. Well, then I started going, you know what, we're going to go do stuff. And so I take my girls, because my husband works a lot of hours, so sometimes I take the kids and we go do something by ourselves. And I find that, you know, sometimes it's been frustrating, but overall I find that it's been a very positive experience for both the kids, and it's helped me, number one, it's helped me enjoy life, and number two, it's helped me to learn how to manage my kids by myself, because sometimes you need to be able to do that. So, do things that make you happy. Last but not least, love yourself the way you are right now, not what or who you could be. Something that I struggled with, and I hear so many people talk about, is the whole, well, when I lose 20 pounds, I'm going to go on that fancy vacation. I'm going to go do that thing, or I'm going to buy that outfit. But the thing is, there's not a guarantee. And don't hold yourself back from doing things just because you're not at like the perfect weight, because sometimes it might take a little bit longer to get where you want to be, or other times you just might not get there. And so do you want to spend your whole life pining for things that, you know, you could have done if you'd have just done them? So I know it's kind of rambly, but just kind of my thoughts on this, and this has been something that I've kind of been bugging me for a while, that I wanted to kind of say something, and I hope that this was helpful. And yeah, if anybody has any questions or comments or any other, you know, questions about that, I will leave that pinned below if people want to save it, because it's just a good reminder. I mean, for everybody, but especially for, you know, us moms that sometimes get wrapped up in taking care of everybody else. We need to remember to take care of ourselves too. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time.